So the first question is from one of our caucuses, and by chance it actually comes from the Women's Caucus. So, while the Democratic Party is doing a better job than the Republicans, women continue to be underrepresented in politics in Utah. How will you work as chair to encourage more women to run for office across the state?
You know, fortunately in 2008, Chairman Holland named me candidate recruitment chair. One of the things that we absolutely understood is that young people are our future in learning how to work campaigns and move up. Women are our future in winning elections. After the 2008 elections, after we had a record number of people run, in the House and in the Senate, in the state capitol, in our Democratic caucuses, for the first time ever in state history, we had an equal amount of women as men in both the House and Senate caucuses. I've always believed, in fact, in my personal life, in my professional life, I was always very fortunate to understand that as an employer, that, well, I had an office manager and 2 marketing managers when I worked in senior living, that unprecedented for an office manager and marketing managers to move up into it as administrators. But because they worked with me, I worked with them, and I've always believed that we're here to lift each other up. I believe that as we're messaging, especially with women issues, wage disparity, and so many other issues that touch not only just women but working family issues, that the chair is the leader of the party in the sense that, you know, somebody, Peter Kroon today said, we're the face of the party. I don't believe that. I believe that when we talk about women's issues, we will come to the Women's Caucus. We will utilize the women in the Women's Caucus and women leaders and people like Representative Patrice Aaron to talk about those issues. We will put them on TV, we'll put them in those stories, and we will get your message out. I'm the son of a father who was chair of the state party, but it was my mother, Judy Harper, who gave me my democratic character, who taught me the democratic values. I have 2 daughters. I have my lovely Andrea and our little boy here. I've always believed, and I'm very, very happy to not only have the endorsement of great women, but men who support women. And I know that it's better and easier. It's much easier for Utahns to vote for women candidates that are Democrats than it is for men. And I will uphold that. And in fact, if you go and ask Christine Stenquist, she was the only candidate I worked with last year because I was in Nevada. My goal was to help her in every way, not only just emotionally, but I didn't give her a lot of money. I didn't knock on any doors. It was mostly phone calls. But we can give moral support and keep people on track and help people. And as your chair, I once again will go after educators, lawyers, professional women, and men to run. But I very much understand that there has been an underrepresentation of women in this state and in this country. And as your chair, I will fight for that not to be an issue here in Utah in the Democratic Party.
Thank you, Leonardo. I'll repeat the last part of the question. How will you work as chair to encourage more women to run for office across the state?
Well, I think it's very important, first of all, to understand women. I grew up with 6 sisters. I'm the youngest in my family and the only boy man now. And one important thing is to understand them, how they think and what do they want. And if you know that, like, as a base, then you can encourage and you will be able to try to bring more people to our party. This party, the Democratic Party, has been always the party that support minority groups, in my case, the immigrant community. And that goes well with women, and which is not a minority, but some people think they are. And they are very powerful. So I'm going to encourage that this party bring more women and so that they can participate. But the most important thing, like I said at the beginning, is to understand women, how they are, how they feel about their issues, and go along with that. If you don't understand women, it will be hard just to say, yeah, I'm going to bring women to the party. But that's a very important thing.
Thank you. Nadia?
Women's equality is an issue very near and dear to my heart. It's what drives me professionally as well as in my free time when I advocate. I am proud that the Utah Democrats in the legislature are majority women. That's something that we can pride ourselves on. However, there's still a lot of work to go. Utah continues to rank the lowest and the worst for women in equality, quality of life, representation in business and in politics. We're also lacking in other areas, not just as elected officials, but there aren't enough women in party leadership. There aren't enough women managing campaigns or serving other operative roles. What we have to do is encourage women to run for office. And to do that, oftentimes women don't feel that they're qualified to run for some of these higher level offices, even though all of the data suggests that when women do decide to run for office, their qualifications are higher and they win more often than their men counterparts. The way to combat that is to encourage women to get involved in boards and commissions, in special districts, and to run for city council, local school board. Those sorts of things we can support women in. They are nonpartisan races, but we know who the Democrats are, and the party should take an active role in supporting those candidates. We also need to create an environment that is women-friendly. I know that as Democrats, we like to think that we're beyond sexism. We're pretty close, but there's still work to do within our own party. So creating a sexual harassment policy for the party and offering that document available to various campaigns would go a long way. When women are elected to office, they push for policy in different ways and in different areas than men. Women are more likely to collaborate and work across the aisle. Women are more likely to push for family and women-focused policies. Women are also more likely to achieve success in the bills that they bring forward. We have a number of great women legislators who do just that and are some of the most powerful voices on the Hill. We also, here's a personal brag, when my ex-husband Kim ran for county council last year, I made sure that the literature said that he would push for paid parental leave at the county offices. That is my personal issue, that's what my dissertation is on, is making sure that we have gender equality in the workplace and at home, and overcoming sort of these attitudinal barriers is going to be important, and I will take that research and use it in my job as chair. Thank you.
Did I ruin this? There we go. I happen to work in an industry that is largely women, the real estate industry, which is interesting. Women make better realtors than men for some reason. That's a personal note. But I feel like one thing that can happen, I attended the Real Women Run last January, and it was very obvious to me that the GOP was all playing on their game, shall we say, because I saw several men in suits walking around and tapping women on the shoulder. And I knew what they were doing. They were calling these women out to run for offices. Well, we're kind of kicking rocks down the road, you might say. So I feel like that is one way to get women to run, is to provide trainings for them and to focus it on the women. And just, I don't have any sort of model in my mind, but it would be easy to, I think, to come up with candidate training specifically for women, because we do face different challenges in obviously in the workforce than men do. So in our canvassing, in our as we're going out and meeting people, I don't know, I don't want to say that I would focus, I won't focus strictly on women. There are many qualified men that are also out there that need to run for office. But I do know that to make it a welcoming atmosphere in the office for women, as Nadia mentioned, and I will say that as a woman in business, I think we need to teach women actually self-esteem, truly, and how to take charge of their life in the business world. I think we've been oppressed long enough, and it's time for us to take charge and take the roles that we need to do. And I agree with starting in the municipal area, but if someone wants to run for a state office chair, go for it.
Thank you, Julianne. Sarah. Hey everyone. So, some really great responses, and I agree fully with what everyone has been saying. I was raised by a single mother on welfare, and I spent a lot of my childhood just realizing the struggle of women in the workforce and how it relates and trickles down to the family. So there's a lot of hardship. You know, one of the things that I find really, really important is having these spaces, you know, where we mentor one another. I think culturally, especially with women, sometimes we don't work together as much as we should sometimes. I mean, yes, we do as a team. We work together, you know, statistically we work together great. But I really want to focus on, you know, building bridges with the Women's Caucus. I think with the new leadership that's coming, you really see, you guys understand social media. You understand like the type of messaging we need through that, which reaches the younger generations, but also building that bridge into older generations. It's really important to have these mentorship programs in place from the young to the old, to the experienced to the experienced. I work directly with Ann Mackin, who is the director and founder of Real Women Run, and I'm working at the moment with her organization that she's starting. It's called Springboard, and it focuses on getting women in board positions. Because when you reach that certain level and you want to run for office, right now I'm seeing a lot of great candidates stepping up to run for office, but there's also these positions, or you know, these board positions that women should be filling, and we should really be getting in the system. My degree's in finance. I've spent the last decade working with entrepreneurs and in the tech industry, which is a predominantly male industry, and it's been difficult. But I think being from the East Coast, we have a little bit of sass, and so we kind of you know, I was just taught to, you know, be confident in the way that we speak and the way that we hold ourselves, and realize that our values. And I think as women in the community, we really need to focus on that. And you know, everything that they've already said, I definitely agree with. So yeah, starting from the bottom all the way to the top, we need to build a community.
Thank you. Daisy?
So, I'm a member of the Junior League, which is the oldest organization for women in the country. It is an organization that does training specifically on things like lobbying, things like getting out into the community and becoming community leaders. So those kind of trainings I think are extremely important, but to do those trainings we need to make sure that when we have events that they're family friendly, because a lot of women have children and that is a barrier to entry for any kind of leadership. We are not exactly a kid solo state. There is a lot of children in this state, so there's a lot of mothers in this state. And these mothers have talents that are not being utilized because they don't have, and they don't feel like they can bring their children to our events. And yeah, there's some events that they shouldn't be at. But if we're going to hold trainings, we should also see if we can come up with volunteers that can help watch the kids in a separate room so that the moms can get the kind of training that they need, because we have amazing members in our state and county caucuses for the Women's Caucus. And I know that if they had more support, that they would get more involved. We also should have a mentorship program like everyone has mentioned before. We have leaders in this party that have a breadth of knowledge that everyone could use. Every single person in here can teach someone something. When we're utilizing our people at their best, we are going to be our best. I wrote the families plank for the platform, and in it I included universal child care, which I had to fight for, but we were able to get it. It passed committee and it'll go to convention and hopefully get passed there too. Because that is something that's extremely important to the state, of all states. Women are important. We need to support them. And we need to be culling through our caucus because we have amazing members already. That is how we build our women candidates. We have to be supportive. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ed.
Thank you for the question. In selecting candidates to run for office, I don't want to walk through a door with tunnel vision. We're living in a state where the women, 88,000 households, or women are at the head of 88,000 households, and almost 26% of them are living below the poverty line. We're also living in a state where women are making 65% of the women at the low earner wages less than $10.10 an hour. 65% of those jobs are women. This is about communication. This is about articulating women's issues to the public and doing it with passion and education. I want to get the best candidates if I'm elected chair. Women, LGBTQ community, people from all walks of life are welcome in the Democratic Party. I'm not going to sit here with tunnel vision, but I will get out there and advocate with every woman about the issues affecting women in the state of Utah because it's reprehensible. And we need to do something about that to change the tenor as a party, but it starts with the messaging. It starts with the messaging. If we don't get the messaging right and start speaking to the women that you want to run with the issues and the correct numbers and the passion and how you're going to do it, we got to get people with passion to run for office and create a little bit of a stir out there. Women, people of color, people with disabilities, anyone who wants to run for office is welcome to run for office. This is not a selection for me. I would like to see more women run, of course. I want to see more of everybody run. But let me tell you something. If we don't get the communication correct throughout our party, then we're not going to get more women, we're not going to get more solid candidates, and we're going to continue to be at the low end. This is about communication and articulation of the issues for me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this